Hi guys, I'm going live, but this is a lesson. This is a music theory, like mathematical type lesson. I don't. You could consider it um, nonsense, but something told me to do it. So hopefully this is cool. Anyway, I want to talk about equal temperament and how it's measured out in Western music. So here we go. Um, First of all, the beginning number, the base number that you're working with is the interval ratio of the interval that you're trying to divide. So if we're trying to divide the octave, the interval ratio for the octave is 2 to 1, or 2 over 1, which is 2. So if you want to divide the fifth, you would take 3 over 2 and then make that the base interval, because that would be a perfect fifth. If you wanted to only use a fifth and divide the fifth evenly or whatever, you would start with the base 3 over 2, because the ratio of 3 over 2 is a perfect fifth. G above C, for instance, and so on. If you wanted to make it a fourth, it would be 4 over 3. That would be the C above the G in the key of C. But anyway, we divide the octave in Western music, so the base interval is 2, because the base interval is 2 to 1, which is 2, so the base number is 2. Now the remaining question is, how do you want to divide that interval? Well, the rule is that for intervals to add, you have to multiply their ratios. So you add intervals by multiplying them. So first, to answer the first question, how do we want to divide the octave? Well, Western music decides to divide it into 12 equal sections called half steps or semitones. This is called equal temperament. But you could have equal temperament and not have 12 notes. You could have 15 notes, or you could have 20 notes. It's a matter of how you divide the octave. But we decide to divide it in Western music into 12 steps or semitones. So here's the thing: you have to get a ratio. You have to get a number, which, when you multiply it by itself, because that's how you add it, 12 times, you get an octave, and that original ratio will be a semitone. The question is, what number is that? Well, in math, the fraction, a number to a power that's a fraction is the power over the root. So it turns out that the interval of the semitone is 2 to the 1/12th power. It's 2 to the 1 divided by 12. Why that? Well, first of all, power over root. It's the 12th root of 2. It's the 12th root of 2. Because the top number is the power, which is 1, so it's 2 to the 1 power, divided by the root, which is 12, so it's the 12th root of 2. And why does that equal a semitone? Which it does, but why does it? Because if you take the 12th, 2 to the 12th power and multiply it by itself one time, you get 2 to the 1/6th power, and that would be the interval for a whole tone. Then if you take 2 to the 12th power and divide it and multiply it by itself 3 times, take it to the third power, which would be 2 to the 12th times 2 to the 12th times 2 to the 12th, you'd get a minor third. That would be 2 to the 1/4, 2 to the 1 over 4, and so forth. So it turns out that if you take 2 to the 12th power, which is a semitone, and multiply it by itself 12 times, which is 12 semitones, you get 2 to the 12th power raised to the 12th power. But in math, a power, when you take a number that's raised to a power to it, and the whole thing's raised to another power, you multiply the powers together and get, that is the number you get. So 2 to the 12th power to the 12th power itself is equal to 2 to the 1 over 12 times 12, which is 2 to the 12 over 12, which is 2 to the 1, because 12 over 12 is 1. So if it's 2 to the 1, that's an octave, which means if you take 2 to the 12th power, 2 to the 1 over 12, multiply that by itself 12 times, you go back to 2, which is an octave, which is another way of saying that the semitone is expressed in interval form as 2 to the 12th power. Because when you take 2 to the 12th power, you get 2 to the 1, which is 2, which means an octave. 12 semitones, or 2 to the 12th power intervals per octave. Love you guys. Peace. Rock and roll.